Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and you are here for a very special variant edition of our 52-year journey through film. This is not coming to you on a Friday. No, this is Sunday. What the fuck? Why? Well, because we're doing one every single day this week. 1994 is a big fucking year for movies, and of course, throughout this week, I'll be joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. I am also joined by Aurora Carter. What's up?
What's up? How you doing? Yeah, that's razzle dazzle this.
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I'm very excited to talk this movie. We're kicking off a very big week in movies. We're talking the year 1994, which just had too many bangers for it to be limited to just Friday. In fact, we had 7 movies, one for each day this week, lined up, and we're starting the week off with The Lion King. And it's just, I don't know that there's a movie that makes me not more nostalgic, but just like reminds me more purely of my childhood. Like, it's just, I watched this movie a ton when I was a kid, and I haven't watched the animated version in years up to this point. So like, as I was watching this, I was just getting hit with nostalgia bomb after nostalgia bomb. I absolutely fucking love it.
I mean, just the opening, you know, you're thrown straight in. You hear that song, and it's just like, oh, I'm right back. I'm 6 years old again. You know, like, I know what goes down in this movie. We all know what happens here, but like,
exactly.
I don't care. It's that good. I'll watch it 500 more times again. So
it's fantastic. Let me lay the groundwork real quick. Released on June 24th, 1994. Written by Irene Mecchi, Jonathan Roberts, Linda Wolverton, Bernie Mattinson, Lorna Cook, Tom Enriquez, and Andy Gaskill, along with Gary Trousdale. This had a lot of writers. A lot of writers. Wow, the writing credits go on for fucking ever here. That's a big project, especially when you're taking the story from Hamlet. Directed by Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff. This is a good fucking movie. And fucking beautiful. I haven't watched it in such a long time that like last time I watched it, I wasn't appreciating the animation as much as I do now. And holy shit, this movie is fucking beautiful.
it holds up, like,
extraordinarily well.
I don't know, like, it's so weird to say that like an animated movie is like a big mark for like visual effects and stuff like that. But this movie had a lot of things that were kind of groundbreaking at the time for animation and visual effects. Like, there was a shot where I think it was Mufasa and Simba. Like, Mufasa was just like up on top, looking out in the morning. Like, Simba just woke him up, and then the camera legitimately just pans and like circles around them and goes like that just hasn't happened before, like in animation, like right. And it was just like, people in the movie theaters were like, whoa, like the camera's moving in an animated movie, like that was like something that was crazy. And like the visual, like, I don't know, all the fire, like everything just looks super beautiful and vibrant, like in this movie. And
isn't it funny when like animated movies back then, when the camera moves, it seems like they just going like this, like subtly, like it just, the shadows and stuff just looks weird. They just move like that.
Yeah, it looks like it's computer generated, and I think to a degree it's we've seen some pretty amazing animation modernly just because of the way technology has evolved. But
Mm.
for a movie that came out almost 30 years ago, this is fucking beautiful. You know, I think there's one that comes like 5 years before this, The Little Mermaid, that also had some pretty beautiful animation, but I don't think like it's even quite to the level that The Lion King is at. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, shit, Toy Story comes a year later, and obviously that's Pixar, and they're doing a whole other thing in terms of innovating animation. But I mean, let's face it, Toy Story is just not nearly as well animated as Lion King is.
Like, this is all hand drawn. You know, like everything you see is pretty much hand drawn.
the light touches has been drawn.
It just boggles my mind that like there are people that were just sitting there drawing these frame by frame by frame. Like, it's just in how they can keep the look of every character's face so consistent, and like, man, I don't know, that just it's so crazy. Like, when you just have a camera and, you know, a person that you're filming, you don't have to worry about that. You know, it's just like you're capturing what you got. And like, yeah, there's ways to make that beautiful, but like, this is from scratch. You are making everything.
It's a blank canvas.
And like, I don't know, like, it just, animated movies are kind of like, if they're this impactful, are like more beautiful to me than like I don't know, like just a very well made film, because like, this is from the ground floor. Like, you don't, like The Godfather, you don't have like an Al Pacino or a Marlon Brando to stare at, you know, like that's just there already. I mean, obviously the performances are fantastic, but like, I don't know.
You're not looking at James Earl Jones.
Like,
you're not looking at Matthew Broderick, which I couldn't fucking believe that Matthew Broderick, like, given that this was the first time I'd watched the animated version of this movie in years, I was shocked to find that I actually recognized a lot more of the voices than I had previously in my life, because I just never gave a shit about that prior to the age I've come to and watching it now. Like, had no idea Matthew Broderick was Simba. That was not something I was incredibly aware of. And as soon as Simba spoke as a grown man, I was like, "You're fucking kidding me! That is Ferris Bueller."
Yeah, I didn't know it until I checked the IMDb page. I just didn't even think about it. I just knew that as like Simba's voice, like in my head, you know. And then I pull up the IMDb page for every pod, and like I was like, whoa! When I looked at the cast, I'm like, wow. I don't know.
Okay. I know people gonna look at me and be like, "What? Aurora is saying that?" But with the 2019 remake and about the character voices and stuff like that, I think not Childish Gambino, not him, but I think Beyonce's voice was a little too familiar for me. Like, I couldn't see Nala. It was like, that's why when he was like, you know, when she was like Nala, I was like, Beyonce. Like, Beyonce?
That's interesting, because I wonder if people like in 94 could only hear like Ferris Bueller, you know, or like, was Ferris Bueller out at this point?
Oh yeah, it had been for a good 10 years.
So like, but, I wonder if like it's just the product of the time, you know, because like this one we knew all those people that were in there.
It is really, really interesting, just because there's also the fact that I don't think there's ever been a voice actor for any project ever that is as famous or iconic as Beyonce. So, like, I'm right there with you. When I was watching the remake, I was like, I mean, that's Beyonce. She's got like one of the most distinct voices I've ever heard in my life. And
when she said lions, like, "Are you with me, lions?" I was about to start doing Run the World. I was like, yeah, I'm about to be busting in this movie. Like, I just couldn't. It was just so hard. And you know, I'm such a stan. But I just like Janelle Monáe or somebody else, something. Like, it's just too, I don't know. She sounded like a lion from Houston, Texas. I was like, yeah, you know, like, it was good, but I was just like, oh. Like, even Whoopi Goldberg,
you know, like that was kind of my thing. Watching this movie here, like in a critical lens, I was like, so this this African lion. These African lions are voiced by Matthew Broderick, the whitest man you know, and Moira Kelly, the mom from fucking One Tree Hill. And like no shade, you know, they did do fantastic in their voices I've grown up with, but it's just like, oh man, all right.
That's why, like, when you look at the cast, like, I don't know, is there like how many black actors was other than Rafiki, Mufasa, and the mom? I forgot her name.
Rafiki Shenzi is Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
Mufasa's James Earl Jones.
Yes.
And young Nala is a black woman.
Looks like
young Simba wasn't black.
Sarabi was Madge Sinclair, black actress. That's the only other one that I'm seeing.
And then young Simba was a white boy named Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
No way, young Simba was white. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that
Jonathan
man has some
Taylor
seasoning in him. What? What?
Can y'all hear the rumbling above me?
No.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure. I'm in my sub-basement. You can hear every step some people take in this house when I'm down here.
That's why I be beating y'all every 25 seconds.
No, yeah, but no, that was like the only gripe I had with the movie, and you know, it's also like it's 1994, and we've gotten a lot better about representation, and I think that was like a large part of the spirit in which the Lion King remake was made for. You know, I think I thought people kind of focused way too much on the fact that it was a live action remake, and it's like, nah, I think they're finally doing right by the Lion King, like probably what it should have been.
He was singing, a black guy was singing for Simba.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, I knew. I was like, okay.
No one says do this.
No one said be there.
Now this is also an interesting film along our journey, because I believe this marks our first musical.
Okay.
Which is it won't be the last either. I've got a couple throughout the list that I think I want to hit at some point, but it'll be this determines how we handle musicals going forward in terms of like how we want to discuss like the music that was in it, what was our favorite songs, like want to go one by one and kind of just be like, this is my favorite song from the movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Would you be down for that? All right, so I mean, like, I'll go first. Nostalgically, I mean, Hakuna Matata is always going to hit different, just because like that's the one that if you're 5, that stuck with you. It means no worries for the rest of my days. Fuck yeah. All right. I buy that. But upon watching this again, I was like, Just Can't Wait to Be King goes crazy. I was like, that's a good ass song. And like it also like the animation during the songs obviously becomes much more music video style as opposed to the whole just normal animation throughout the movie. But like I really fucked with Just Can't Wait to Be King, and I think it really gives you a good image of young Simba going forward in a struggle that he inevitably will encounter. But yeah, I think that prevails as my favorite song from this movie.
It is a classic. You know, all of these are like classics though, is the thing. Like every single one is so good. If I had to pick one favorite, I mean, it's the opener. It's the Circle of Life. I don't know. It's just a good song, like in general, like just outside of the movie too. And it's like the whole, you know, holding up Simba for the first time, you know, like it's like the beautiful moment, you know, you just see all of Africa, every animal. Yeah, let's paint the scene here. Close your eyes. You'll get a really good image of Africa right now. You just see all the elephants, the zebras, the giraffes,
all of them dropping to a knee.
I thought you were going to continue singing and we were going to, but that's okay. That's cool.
I went as far as I could.
Hey, it's okay. I applaud you for doing what you did. But yeah, I don't know.
Eating
Circle of Life
ramen
would be
in my pajamas. Eating ramen in my pajamas. Logging on to see all my followers.
Yeah. But this was also the first time I'd watched this movie with the context of really knowing what Hamlet is. I'd never been familiar with the actual the work by Shakespeare, Hamlet. When I was a very small child, obviously. I wasn't out here reading sonnets when I was 6, but now that in high school I took a couple theater classes and we read some Hamlet and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's like exactly what this is, huh?
I think. Wait, is it my turn to do like favorite song? Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely. Okay.
I think mine will be "Can You Feel the Love Tonight." It's just something about that, like when it's just something about like how you just have Timon and Pumbaa start it and end it. It's so stupid because why are you even there? Like,
right?
Like when he be like he ends it with like "There's in the air." It's just so stupid. I can't really choose between. It's so hard because the introduction, like Joseph said, is so fucking iconic. And then it's just so Can You Feel the Love Tonight? I will stick with that.
That was just a good song too.
The lion sleeps at night. I love that.
We know it.
I like how they did that in the remake though. The remake was so good. How they had all the animals. This it was so stupid. Yeah,
they had an opportunity to go a lot more crazy with some of these songs in the remake though, because like they have the benefit of knowing like just what bangs, and then you also bring in the musical talent of Beyonce and Childish Gambino and all these motherfuckers, and you're like, okay, well they're gonna know what sounds right.
I'm going to see something else that's hurting my heart. Now, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Wasn't bad with Childish Gambino and Beyonce. Was not bad. Childish Gambino did his thing. He was like, like the peace the evening brings. But you bring Beyonce into it, and you got runs, growls, vibratos, crescendo, diminuendos. I'm like, all right. Like he even said it. I forgot what talk show it was. He said I was recording it in Asia because I was on a different continent, and I heard Beyonce record it first. How was I supposed to like live up to that?
How am I supposed to do this?
I was like, oh my god, like it was just like, oh man.
And see, that's like, it's really really bold to put a singer like Beyonce in your movie. Because ain't nobody else gonna do that. It's like with animated movies and the singers that they usually go with in Disney. It's really interesting to like, because I've seen this discussion bubble up a lot around Encanto. I don't know if you guys have watched that yet. The Disney animated Encanto.
Amazing, yes.
Oh, fucking amazing! Absolutely love it. But I saw people complaining about like gosh, don't you miss when Disney had actual singers play the parts? Because like, and I think their example was Idina Menzel as Elsa in Frozen, and it's like, I think it adds a ton of heart to a character whenever I hear them sing a song that I am also confident I could probably sing all right. Like in terms of like just kind of an everyman song. Like this should be appealing to everybody. That's kind of what I'm going for here. I'm not going to belt Let It Go. I know I'm not going to do that. It's just not something I'm capable of. I cannot talk about Bruno. I can do that. But
that's fair.
I can do
Moana. So when it comes to like a live action Lion King, you got a singer like Beyonce, and it's like nobody's gonna touch Beyonce.
Yeah, I was just listening to the Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and like, yeah, you just hear Beyonce, like, just all the the inflections, like everything, she's just hitting everything perfectly. And then like, I mean, Donald Glover, you gotta love the guy, but like he just sounds like so bland just because of how like killing it Beyonce's doing it like in the moment. And like,
it's the part in Can You Feel the Love Tonight when she say lies to, then she'd be like, yeah. Like,
God damn.
Like, ain't it supposed to be both of us together? Right. It tonight? You all the way in the morning. Like Like it was just.
Now was
crazy.
Moira Kelly the singer for Nala in the original Lion King as well?
I don't know if they were the same singers.
No, we got some singing voice
They
credits.
had some
down
good
here.
matches. If they wasn't, the Lion King had good matches with the.
As young Nala or old Nala?
Older Nala. Sally
Hmm.
Dworsky is who it says is the singing voice for Nala. God, it's a shame that these singing voices went uncredited. That's
damn.
Could that be the big?
Yeah,
the big.
It's like such a big part of the movie.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I was
Like,
saying.
what? Damn.
I'm trying to see if because there was one singer. There's only one character in this who sings,
Really?
or a couple. Timon and Pumbaa do theirs, and then Scar. Jeremy Irons is Scar.
I love
does
that
it.
man.
Oh, I love Jeremy Irons, and I know Joe. You're fresh off of Watchmen a few weeks back. Jeremy Irons, the voice of Scar, is Adrian Veidt in that.
Oh.
Isn't he
yeah.
also? He was also.
He's Alfred in the
That's what
DCEU.
Alfred. Yeah. Yep. And he also played in my favorite childhood movie, Aragon. So I was like, I love that man.
No, Jeremy Irons is a legend,
Yes.
and like him singing as Scar, like this. There's that one part in the song in his performance where like they like do the whole fascist imagery where the
Be
hyenas
prepared.
do their
Yeah.
march. Yeah, that song goes fucking brazy. And like you can tell that's Jeremy Irons. Like they didn't switch anything up there. He was performing that shit.
How did you like the 12 Years a Slave guy? I forgot his name. But when he did Be Prepared, because in the 2019 he actually did it kind of like it actually came off like Scar like. Like evil. It wasn't just like singing. He was aggressive, mean.
Oh yeah,
it.
like he sounded evil. Like I that's
shit.
one thing about Jeremy Irons Scar. It's like he doesn't sound evil. He sounds like I'll find my
Sly.
workaround. Yeah, like
He's
a
sly
sly
guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, but
Question: was he born with the scar, or did he
He
get the
adapted
scar
it.
later on, and then his name wasn't always Scar?
No.
Do we know his name?
There
Before?
was an actual like canon thing, but I can't remember.
Was Scar's name always Scar? Turns out Scar.
I think his
wasn't
name is
actually
Taka.
Scar.
Taka.
Taka. Yeah,
Taka.
Taka. Meaning
Taka and Mufasa.
garbage. It means garbage.
Waste or
That's
desire.
what Taka translates to, is garbage.
I got waste or desire.
And then Mufasa meaning king. Damn.
man, they weren't fucking with Scar from the get-go.
He wasn't.
Jeez.
But
Man.
you gotta think about it. That's why he's so frail, because in Pride, it's like the alpha one is the one that gets all the food.
True.
Right.
And Nala and Simba, being together making that baby at the end is incest. Because Nala's Simba's sister.
Yeah, the whole I never considered that until I was watching it this time, but I was like, wait, hold the fuck up, because the Zazu, that's the bird, right?
Yeah, Zazu.
Shit. I guess animals
he
just
goes,
be doing
you guys
incest.
will be married. You guys will be married because it's a tradition that spans back generations. And I'm like, wait, between wait.
Well, I guess in the animal kingdom, it's not that uncommon, right?
No, yeah, because they even go, ew, we'll have to be married. That's my friend.
I never even thought about this ever. Every animal, all of them, no way they're thinking about incest. They're just doing it.
Yeah.
They just doing it. Yeah.
We're the only ones that think it's weird because we have a conscience.
We have developed thinking.
Yeah, we have developed thought.
They're like, Grandma Antelope looking kind of thick over there. Hold up.
Man, I never even thought that there's just incest everywhere in the animal kingdom out there.
Mufasa is Nala's dad.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
And we've even taught it from birth, from our watching this movie. Wow. What a thought.
See, but they handle it in a way where I never thought about it until I was 22.
I mean, yeah.
So they definitely did a good job there. In terms of kind of shielding it enough to where it's like you have to be able to think critically to pick up on this.
Okay, I know we are just talking about Lion King, but it's so weird about the incest thing because they kind of don't give a fuck about it in Lion King too, because Simba's daughter falls in love with Scar's son, and I'm like, y'all say throughout the whole movie that's Scar's son, so
I guess they're just going with, since the animals do it, we'll just say it's normal. You know, they just act like it's normal because, like, there's no humans in this, I guess. So, like, it would just be normal.
No, yeah, I think it's probably like...
But it is a movie, and you can do whatever you want with it, you know? You don't... These are talking lions at the end of the day, you know?
We going for realism?
For realism? Okay, I think I'm being too pragmatic.
No, I mean like like if they were to be like, but we'll go ahead and go outside the family for this one. Let's figure out a right around. They're just going to go with the most dramatic thing.
This is
That's
so
funny. I hadn't even considered the fact that Nala and Simba are at least somewhat brother and sister.
Because I remember being young and I'm like, so is that Scar's daughter? And my mom was like, no. And I'm like, but wait a minute, it's only, okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because they try to make it clear that Mufasa is Simba's dad and Shenzi is Nala's mom, but they never really get you to the point where you're like, Mufasa and Shenzi are husband and wife.
But Nala's, but Simba's mom is like the main bitch. It's like, this is main bitch. Yeah. And then the rest of the lionesses.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought?
I love like the scene, like when either Colton or I say something, Joseph's just like,
hold the fucking phone.
It's so fucking funny.
That was a big life revelation there. That wasn't just Lion King revelation. That was like,
oh yeah, I've been watching this movie for 22 years. Never occurred to me that Simba and Nala are brother and sister.
So I'm the heathen of this podcast, man. For me to think about that.
Man, I guess I just was so used to it that I never thought into it that much. I don't know. Yeah, I was like, they just always ended up together.
That's the difference between critically viewing a movie and just watching a movie. When you start thinking about things, you start going, interesting.
Kansas City Film Critics Circle Award, baby. We got one.
Yes.
We finally got one. Oh, I'm glad. We got finally.
What it win?
Just Best Animated Film.
Rightfully so.
94. So, I'm glad. Glad we got another. I've been checking every movie. There's the Kansas City Film Critics have been lacking on our list, but I'm glad we're back. Maybe this year is a
Kansas City
turnaround.
Film Critic.
Yeah, it's just I had no idea that the Kansas City Film Critics Circle Award existed until this project. So now I just keep tabs with it for every movie that we watch to see if like we gave it an award or not. But
no, yeah, it's real. It's this movie. Like I think about it compared to like the other animated children's movie on our list that we've got so far is My Neighbor Totoro, which is a very different type of movie, made in a culturally different place with a completely different story about completely different things. So it's really interesting, like viewing these relatively back to back. I mean, within a few weeks of each other, anyway. Just how much they like stack up against one another. I think from a purely objective standpoint, these films are rather on par with one another.
I'd agree.
There's like, and it's just shocking to say for a movie that I grew up with and watched my entire life compared to a movie I saw for the first time a couple weeks ago. Which I think speaks volumes about My Neighbor Totoro. But The Lion King, like this obviously has had one of the greater cultural impacts of most movies, as it went to Broadway and ran for a really long time, became a very big Broadway production. We got a remake in 2019 in live action, which bolstered the volume technology that now is used in Star Wars and Marvel projects, which is really interesting. Just like the history of the Lion King is really fascinating.
It's just like crazy that, and I could be wrong, so I'm going to fact check myself after I say this, but I believe the Lion King like carried like the biggest box office till Frozen came out. Like
For an animated film?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it carried, or it was something that it carried for like a long ass time. Like,
Okay, is that the new one, or is that the old? Okay, I see 1.66 billion, but I think that's the new one. The Lion King 19. Okay, this makes more sense. Yeah, 422 million lifetime gross. This says, but damn, that's
Yeah. So the original, I'm looking at a worldwide gross here, and until 2010, with Toy Story 3, The Lion King was the highest grossing animated film of all time. It has since been passed by several, but that's just because of the way the box offices worked and the animated films have ramped up. The Lion King 2019 remake is for some reason considered the highest grossing animated film of all time, and I guess because it's like entirely CG. There's no like it's technically animated.
Technically. Yeah.
Which is really fucking crazy to think about that's an animated movie also.
That's just a different level of animation that we have. Yeah, I mean that's just like goes to show like the animation we had in 94 is you still had to draw frame by frame, and the animation we have now is photoreal. Simulations. Like what?
Yeah, but Lion King comes in at 12 on the highest grossing animated films of all time, behind The Lion King, Frozen 2, Frozen, Incredibles 2, Minions, Toy Story 4, Toy Story 3, Despicable Me 3, Finding Dory, Zootopia, and Despicable Me 2.
Oh, so all recent movies. Okay. The Lion King still that girl.
Yes.
Can we also just talk about like how, because I'm just over here while y'all was talking, I'm just singing the score. Hans Zimmer on the score was he must have had some good chicken, because he put so much African beats and Afro beats, and just it was just so beautiful. It was so beautiful.
It really is fascinating. Like I think to like Hans Zimmer being the soundtrack scorer for this, and like Ludwig Göransson being the soundtrack scorer for like the Black Panther. It's just like interesting choices for those movies, you know, like a couple of white boys for like these clearly African sounds you're going for. You know, it's paid off in both scenarios, but I can't help but wonder what it might have been like if we actually get an African musician to do stuff like that.
It's probably just because they needed the big Hollywood name.
Name.
I like guarantee there's no way Hans Zimmer like did all this on his own. There's no way he didn't like travel or like just cover from like get source material and stuff like that. Like no way this was Hans Zimmer in a studio.
In his only
vision.
Yeah,
like no way. But yeah, it's just I think that's just
I mean, like unless it is.
But you think?
Like, I mean, there are certain dudes who are just that level of musical genius. Like, you give them the sounds, they'll know how to make it sound right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess John Williams has made a theme that
you look
can
at the
instantly
Star Wars
recognize.
bag, and it's like, what the
fair.
fuck? Look
at
the original Star Wars theme in contrast with the Cantina song. That's by the same guy. That's insane.
Fair.
Okay. And Colton, you can totally edit what I'm about to say out.
Got you.
But I just thought about something that I totally wanted to say yesterday about John Williams. And it's okay if I could say it right now.
Go for it.
Okay. So, the same guy that did Spider-Man, No Way Home, all his movies, the same guy, Michael, whatever the fuck his last
Michael
name is.
Giacchino.
Okay, you can say his name for me because I'm not going to get that. I prefer, because he did both movies of Spider-Man and Jurassic World, I prefer the first scores over his new ones. And I'm just going to say that. Sam Raimi's music, amazing. John Williams' music, amazing. Like, it's just, I was just thinking about it, like how he did these newer movies, and I still prefer the old ones over his.
Oh, so you're saying you fuck with
Danny something for
Danny Elfman,
yes,
and James Horner more than Michael Giacchino.
Yes.
Okay. No, I can absolutely get behind that in terms of like for the Spider-Man soundtrack that he's created. Danny Elfman's is, I mean, James Horner. Don't get me fucking wrong.
Because someone did the old like Danny Elfman music for when all three of the Spider-Man like swung, and it was like I was like, this is what I was talking about. The only reason why I just put it in there because y'all guys was talking about composers. So
oh no, and I'll always go off on a tangent here if you want to talk about score. Michael Giacchino, by the way, deserves a lot of respect as he is. Yeah. He did the whole trilogy for the Spider-Man movies. He did Doctor Strange. He's doing the Batman.
Damn.
He did Rogue One.
He's killing the Batman so far. Like,
oh yeah, that Batman theme is fucking crazy.
It makes me want to like do bad. Like, I don't know. It like
I want to go fight crime.
Like, oh man, it just gets me pumped.
I want to punch men in the face very hard for stealing a thing.
It'd be really cool if like the music notes of that soundtrack was. It sounds like it's like alternating between two notes. It's like 3 times and then 3 of the same note and then 1 of the other, 3 of the same note, 1 of the other. And like it'd be like really cool if it was like D D D C, like it was just alternating like D C, because like that's what they did for the Dark Knight like theme. Like it was just like one sound they used or something. They just went from like a D to a C. Like it's just like a thing that they've kept like in the Batman movies like throughout history. Like something came from DC. And I don't know if this theme is that. I have no idea. But like if it would be cool. But I'm not holding my breath on that. Like I'm not going to be like, oh, now this sucks because it's not holding tradition. Like, but
I really hope...
no, guys. I mean, like, we're getting into dangerous waters over here because I'm on a DC kick right now, and those don't happen a lot.
It doesn't.
But when they do, they fucking hit me like really hard because, like, when I was younger, it was DC over Marvel all day. I was watching when it came to cartoons, DC had that shit in the bag. So when I was younger, I was watching DC cartoons all the time.
Titans, man.
Oh, I really hope we would do
Justice League.
Yes, I really hope we do like the Batman pod, because I'm so here for that.
Oh, we're absolutely doing the Batman pod. There's no doubt about it, and it's funny. And like now that the time people are listening to this, go back and check out the Batman episode.
We're still waiting to buy tickets.
That we're like in the future.
Tickets aren't even on sale yet, and we're out here June 24th. Or whatever the fuck, whatever the fuck today is.
I forgot we're in the future.
But,
my bad.
If it's Sunday,
Sunday
12th. After
June 12th.
June 12th.
It is June 12th today. Yeah,
is June 12th today?
Interestingly enough,
yeah.
Okay.
So
June 12th.
Batman's been out for a few months. In fact, Multiverse of Madness has come and gone. Morbius has come and gone. Go check out all our podcasts on those.
What's so cool about this? I would have seen y'all two again by the time this pod comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's great.
Crazy time travel shit, right?
No, yeah, time travel shit when it comes to the podcast is crazy. Right now, we got 171 episodes published and like 25 scheduled. Like there's so much shit that hasn't been released.
I like having, the Time Stone podcast when we in the future. Great.
Oh yeah, that's what makes it a little fun for me for sure. Like I won't have watched these movies for months, so when these podcasts roll around, I'll be like, haven't thought about this in a while. It makes it fun. But now you have the Lion King.
Yes, the Lion King.
The Lion King. The Lion King.
Okay, this is interesting. If you had to choose one word to describe this movie, what would you choose and why? I think I want to I started to think about that every time that I watch a movie now. I want a word that I come out of this movie with, and I think this one is colorful. The use of color is so good. You have Scar, whenever Scar is just on screen by himself, it's all evil color, green flame, or red flame, and then just the beauty, the landscape. I think, yeah. Sorry if I stole either of your words, but
I fixed it.
I don't know. I would say colorful for this one.
I would say vibrance.
Yeah, I was gonna say ambient. All different versions of pretty much the same word. In terms of just filling the space and everything feeling right. There isn't a frame of this movie that isn't pretty. And I think that's really, really important, especially in an animated film with so much style. This is incredibly original. And I think to other animated movies that we've watched that I absolutely love the color grading of and the way the colors are done. I think to Into the Spider-Verse and Mitchell's versus the Machines and shit like that. And those are some recent examples, but even those don't accomplish the style that the Lion King establishes here, to a degree, and obviously they went for completely original stuff that's completely otherworldly and Into the Spider-Verse and Mitchell's versus the Machines. But this is a standard setter here in the Lion King. When we talk about genre defining, this is genre defining.
There we go. Well, that already settles one of those.
Yes, it does.
I was about to say the same exact thing. This is just a whole different kind of animated film, especially at the time that it released. And yeah, I don't know of another, movie that's animated. You go best animated movies of all time. Yeah, I'm thinking Into the Spider-Verse first, probably just because that's the most frequent on my mind. But if I were to think about it, I'm either thinking Lion King, Toy Story, or WALL-E. And that's those are my best animated movies of all time. But this one coming out in 94, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it than genre defining. So I mean,
so you guys know when he was, what song was that? I Can't Wait to Be King. I think, yeah.
Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
So, how all the animals out of nowhere started falling? This is how smart the studio is. Okay. They show why they started falling, and it was in the future movie, which is during the first movie. Timon is carrying the weight of all these fucking animals, and he just collapsed. That's what happened, and I fell the fuck out when I saw that. It was
that's
funny.
just.
It's just
I remember having the DVD that came as a package. It was Lion King 1, Lion King 1.5, Lion King 2.
I had that, yeah.
Yeah, and there was the setting, when the movie ended, it was it was Timon. He popped up and he was go ahead, turn on Lion King 1.5. He'd just go and talk shit to you at the end of the movie until you turned on Lion King 1.5. And when I was a child, man, Timon and Pumbaa, that's where this movie hit. You know what I'm saying?
That's where it hits.
That was the shit. I wanted to eat those fucking bugs.
Fair. They did look tasty, colorful, vibrant.
Good as vibrant, shit. Ambient.
They did look tasty.
Grubs.
Slimy, yet satisfying.
Yeah, perfectly. And the crunch. The crunch.
They had to have good, gusher. They're gushers.
The cream-filled kind.
Yeah. Whenever. Ooh.
The little cream-filled kind.
Yeah. It did make me want to eat a bug there. That's for sure.
Like,
Specifically those bugs.
We all have the same childhood. I
oh,
swear.
come
like
on.
all these experiences, like everyone has them. Like I don't know what another example is, but we all think all of our childhoods are so different, but like, no, we lived the same. I don't know, these unforgettable experiences. Because, I mean, I've wanted to eat those bugs since the first time I've seen this movie.
Even the way
that's one of the things that has stuck with me.
Yeah. Even the way the hyenas were eating the zebra leg, I said, "Damn, that look kind of savory."
Like, Scar take the shit out and it looked like a fucking thigh. And he's like, oh, okay, drumstick.
You know what's so funny? Like when the when the Circle of Life happened in the movie, you see like Timon and Pumbaa walking across the landscape, and all the animals is like chasing them. Like he's like, "Damn, that's like a big ass sun." And then out of nowhere, the animals just start chasing them. It's so fucking funny. I love the Lion King.
That's fantastic.
So amazing.
No, yeah, and the one thing that we don't we don't have any we don't discriminate between length of movie. Typically, we have movies that are over 3 hours on this podcast that we've covered, and this one's one of the shorter ones, clocking in at like just under, like in terms of actual screen time, excluding credits, under an hour and a half, which is a huge plus for a movie that can do what this did. Like in terms of like, yo, you get me out of here in 85 minutes and you've left me with an experience that I've remembered for my entire life. That's pretty awesome. Like that's a great movie.
Have you ever heard of anyone that doesn't like this movie?
Yes.
Like,
they don't exist.
Yes. Like, I don't think I haven't heard like a bad thing about this movie. Like, I don't know. I don't think
I've heard. I will take that back. I've heard people say they prefer other Disney animated movies. I've heard people call this boring, but then every time I've ever talked to them, I've been like, "When was the last time you watched The Lion King?" Then,
fair.
And it's like, well, not in a while. And it's like, okay, go ahead and watch Lion King again.
What was it, like Lion King 3D? It came out like what, 2013 or 14 or something. I remember like going to go see it, and it was packed. It was packed. Like so many little kids. It's like, wow, and I'm like, you don't even know. I had to watch it on VCR.
You know.
I had to watch it on VCR. Like what?
We had to go to Channel 3. Bro, like Channel 3,
Channel 3.
People don't know about Channel
3,
3, Like that's crazy that some people just don't know about Channel 3. And like some people listening are like, what
the fuck is Channel 3?
Channel 3 or Channel 10
Fox
during
News?
Christmas?
What are you talking about? No, if we wanted to play a video game, if we wanted to watch a movie, like why 3? Why didn't they just choose like 1 or 0? Like, why did they choose 3? Like, I never understood that. It was just an unspoken known rule back then. Like, wow.
You put them colors in Channel 3.
You know what's crazy? I'm looking at it right now. Lion King 1.5 did not come out for 10 years after the first Lion King. That was 2004, whereas the original was 1994, and Lion King 2 was 1998. So
interesting.
You know who I was shocked was in Lion King 2 that played Kiara? Sidney Prescott from Scream. I was so shocked. I never knew that. I was like, yeah, Sidney Prescott. I was like,
I'm a sucker for anything that's like has any sort of crossover with any of the shit that we've watched either on the podcast or I'm watching personally. So like just running through the cast list, James Earl Jones obviously is our Darth Vader voice in Star Wars. We obviously love that man. We've gone over Jeremy Irons already a couple times in terms of what he's in. Moira Kelly as Nala. I know her best as Karen in One Tree Hill. She's the mother of one of the main characters. Got Nathan Lane as Timon, who interestingly enough, he's a pretty well established actor, but I'm actively watching Modern Family, and he plays a recurring character in it by the name Pepper, friends with Mitchell and Cam. But so like as soon as I looked this up and I was like, "You're fucking kidding me! I know who the guy who voices Timon is now." It's just like
my favorite movie of him is Mouse Hunt. I love him in Mouse Hunt, and a lot of people don't know that movie, and I'm like, how?
Yeah,
I'm in that boat.
You don't know Mouse Hunt?
that would have been late '90s too.
But it's so funny. That mouse was fucking them up. Like
because that I think it also had like Lee Evans if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The
skinny guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it was all in the kitchen, it had like 1,000 mouse traps and the mouse just dodging them and then drops an
Man, I
olive.
haven't seen that movie in fucking years. You just pulled a memory way the fuck out.
Or like when it was in the when the mouse was sliding down the rail and they was going out the door inside the tub.
Yes.
It sounds kind of familiar though.
You have
what was this called?
Mouse Hunt. You have to have seen that. Like it's so fucking funny. In the end, they was making cheese strain.
Wait a minute. No, I've seen this.
Exactly.
Whoa. That's
just dug a memory out, huh?
I took a memory.
Damn.
Nostalgic.
Wow. That's crazy.
Man,
that's wow. That's just what the Lion King does. It just awakens your inner child.
Yes.
Reconnects you at a deep level.
Remember,
and then obviously Zazu's voiced by Mr. Bean.
Gotta love Mr. Bean, man.
Gotta love Mr. Bean. But
remember,
I don't know. I mean, it's an undisputed classic. You know, we're all familiar with the Lion King at this point here, over 25 years later. Are we ready for the ratings and reviews section of the pod?
I think we're ready.
Wait. One part. Joseph just said it. Remember who you are. That scene. I don't have to say nothing.
Oh, yes.
Just that scene.
God,
I mean,
yes.
Like, straight up.
You have forgotten me.
No,
well, you have forgotten yourself, and therein forgotten me.
And then he was like, "Damn, yeah, you're right." He was like, "No way, I would forget you, Father."
And then we get the Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader moment where he's like, "No, I won't fight you." Like, yeah.
Oh, thank you. You're so noble, Simba. Oh, yes, thank you.
It's just like how the background is like, ooh, like it's just, and he just like, "You are my son." It's just like, son.
You are my son.
Like. Oh, and how his jaws is like it's just he is really he is speaking, and then how another thing I always wanted to eat, even though he used it as paint, I always want to get his fruit, Rafiki's fruit, and just like I always wanted to
fun dip,
that.
Like natural fun dip. It looked like it just looks so good.
I've always wanted him to rub that shit all over my face. I've always wanted that.
I'll do that to my kid.
I also 100%. Love the part when Rafiki realizes Simba's still alive. That's one of the that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie when he's going crazy. He's like, "Yes!"
How does he realize that he's alive?
I'm assuming he went on some sort of drug induced
descent, and from the remember he fell on like a patch of grass and it carried it all the way to his tree.
Oh, okay, that's right.
It was like,
okay.
But I'm gonna go with the implication that this man's doing ayahuasca up in that tree.
That's kind of what it was seeming like.
He went on some sort of trip, which led him to the conclusion Simba's alive.
If there was ever like a human version of the Lion King, Snoop Dogg needs to be Rafiki.
So we just doing Hamlet.
Yo, Simba, he's still alive,
Hamlet.
I bet. Like,
okay, but
man,
yo,
yeah.
I mean, we've already got one rating already down, pretty much. Like we've already said, this is genre defining. Already
as an animated children's movie,
it is, of course.
That's a 5 out of 5.
Of course.
That's an easy.
So that one's pretty easy. And then out of pure enjoyment and how you connect with this movie,
that's a pretty high up there, man. Like. I'm going, I mean, we haven't even spoken on the most painful scene in the movie.
That's
because
true.
It is the most painful scene in the movie.
Oh.
But that shit, like whenever Mufasa dies, I know that's coming. every time,
Still hits,
and
man.
every time I'm a cry. It's a guarantee. There's no doubt in my mind.
It's just like the innocence of Simba, not
Mm.
seeing what happens, and you're just like, no, I know what happens. I know you're banished. And it's just like
when he's crawling up out of the pit and he's trying his hardest, and Simba's watching him, and then he meets Scar at the top and he throws him off. It's like, oh, fuck.
That's why I got mad at this is the only criticism about the new one. I hate it because people were saying like, "Oh, that scene didn't vibe with me because you can't really see the expression." It's supposed to be like a real fucking lion. The lion's not gonna be like it's a lion. Like what you want it to do.
That's like a reason why this movie had to be animated. Like they did not have the technology to make a real animal's face expression. They have expression.
Yeah.
Like
and
you need like this animation and like. Yeah, I guess you lose a little bit of that when you go to the real, like, super realism, but, like, I don't know. There are people that prefer the original over, just like Jurassic Park. Like, there are people that prefer the animated version. I mean, I guess they're both animated, but prefer the older version, that rather than the new one. And, I mean, I guess there'll always be those people, and everything.
Oh, I prefer the old one over the new one just because of nostalgia reasons, but yeah.
I mean, I'd argue here that like live action Lion King obviously can't happen without animated Lion King. And I mean, because if you throw live action Lion King out there as a brand new story we've never seen before, it's probably pretty mind blowing to see it in live action. Like, whoa, this shit was dope. But I think you just draw so much greater of an emotional resonance from the performances through animation than you do.
But Happy directed his ass off on that movie. Happy did that.
Yeah, Jon Favreau really went in.
And the Jungle Book
on the live action.
And the Jungle Book. He did amazing.
Yeah. Jon Favreau is just an undeniable force in the industry. He's fantastic. But Lion King, man, this is in terms of enjoyment on a out of 5 there. This is pretty close to being as high as you can get on that scale. I'd say an
8. I'm serious. It's just too good. Like, it's just good across the board. Like, what other musical other than, to me, The Greatest Showman? But like musical that has like bangers.
The Greatest Showman fucking slaps.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that like musicals? Like I used to not fuck with musicals because I thought it would like take me out of the movie. Like I'm watching the movie for the story, but then like song out of nowhere. But now like I've since grown away from that, and like it's a whole different vibe. So like I'm
especially
with that.
Especially the movie viewer you've become over the last few weeks. I think you'd be more inept to handle a musical than you were even 6 months ago.
Yes. And like, but this is like, I want these songs in this movie. Like, I don't want this movie to just be the movie.
Without the songs.
Yeah, like I need the songs in this movie. I sing along with this movie. That's what movie can get you to like move and actually sing, and like how do you rate that on a scale of enjoyment? Like it has to be high up there. Like we're watching the other one of these movies we are watching sitting still and staring at a screen, but this one we're like, I don't know, I'm legitimately moving and like actually vibing like with the movie. So like,
right, I'm with you.
That's why I was like, when he was talking about like Frozen having a better soundtrack than The Lion King, I was like, the only song everybody knows is Let It Go, and that's it. And we don't even need that song in the movie. Like, I'm not watching Frozen for the bangers. I'm just watching to see the bitch freeze shit. Like, that's not
kind of fair.
I'm not. Like, we only know Let It Go.
I think people do watch Frozen for the story rather than the song.
Exactly. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, giving it a 5, like it seems high, but like also at the same time, like I don't know. Like the other movies,
it feels like a because like my gut goes, that's a 5 out of 5 enjoyment. And I worry it's nostalgia hindered.
But it's just like, okay, how it just did so well for its time and to be a kids movie. Like the soundtrack made the movie is banger at the bang. It's not one weak song in this whole entire film.
Oh no,
You gotta
absolutely.
And then
This rating is just how it connected with you and how you enjoyed it. You know?
yeah,
Like that's what this rating is. You know,
okay,
that's
okay.
this is just how we enjoyed it. We don't have to compare it with Indiana Jones. We don't have to compare it with Godfather, you know? Just this
No,
one
absolutely
movie. How do we you know, how were we? And I was right. I'm 5. I don't
I'm
care.
5.
Like I'm 5.
Yeah,
with
I'm right
this
there
movie.
with you. It's a 5 out of 5 enjoyment. It's as enjoyable a film as it gets, I think, especially to people our age. And I think while nostalgia, you need to kind of clear your mind a bit in terms of your objective view. In the next ranking, nostalgia can play a factor in enjoyment.
Mhm.
And so yes, it's definitely a 5. It's definitely a 5 in enjoyment.
And this is the one where, you know, we can. It is not a 5 out of 5 critically made film. Like, you know, this is fantastic, and we love this movie for everything it is. But like, no way, you know.
Is it a perfect 5s across the board? It's
Man,
You
y'all
know,
can
and-
speak for yourself. I'm
mean-
joking. I know.
What, they took the story of Hamlet, you know, so like they're taking a story already, which I guess like it's a general story, you know,
It's an
general story
adaptation.
adaptation. So like, and that's kind of what all stories are anyways, like a coming of age story, you know, like that's basically what like Star Wars
We're following
is,
an
but,
outline.
you know, so yeah, so I mean, I don't really want to ding it too much on just that.
No, yeah,
But-
like I think floor is 4.5.
Okay, fair. I was right around there too.
And I think ceiling 7.5.
Okay.
Like I think we're somewhere in that range, just because like I'm not, and I know like the comparison shit, like it's not fun to do, but like the one that we can compare it to most is My Neighbor Totoro. And I think about the way that story gripped me and was much less lower stakes. I care about the characters in that every bit as much.
And that wasn't going off any nostalgia at all with that movie.
No.
So yeah.
I think this has to be a little bit less critically acclaimed than we did My Neighbor Totoro.
And that makes sense. And I'm there anyways. You know, I'm not going to give this a 4.9 that we gave My Neighbor Totoro. So I was kind of like in the 4, 5 is where I was kind of thinking. It was my gut. So I don't know. I guess what do you guys think?
I'm down with the 4.5. I think that's all right. And if Aurora was willing, I'd be if she's like, I need that higher, I'm cool with the 4. I'm cool with up to a 4.75. You know, like I think it's definitely worthy of being one of the best films we've watched on this list. There's no doubt.
I guess if it is a 4.5, it averages it out to a 4.83. Comparing that to Jurassic Park, which is a 4.73. It is below My Neighbor Totoro, below Dead Poets, and below Goodfellas, all at a 4.92. But above Boys in the Hood at a 4.75. I guess it ties Jaws.
This feels exactly right to me.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, and it also ties Godfather Part 2.
Jaws, The Godfather Part 2, and Lion King.
Wow,
those are all the
what a combination!
Movie.
What a combination of movies there. But I don't know. I think that kind of works out how I was feeling about this movie.
Right. No, yeah, I think it does too, for sure. And you know, you think about a 4.83 out of 5. You take that out of 10, and that's a 9.6 something. Like that's and you look at what we've got in that. Yeah. We've got what we've got in there, and it's like you ask people generally. You know, I give you these 3 movies: Jaws, Godfather Part 2, and Lion King. What binds these movies together? Well, these are 3 of the greatest movies of all time. And like that's just got to be it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess. I was like kind of hindering on like maybe this is too much, you know, for the Lion King, but
I don't think it is.
It worked
I
out.
think it's every bit that good.
Mhm.
Probably, I mean, for my money, the best Disney animated movie of all time. And that's barring how I feel about certain modern ones in a few years. Because I feel pretty fucking high on a few of the movies that have come out over the last couple of years, like Encanto and
Moana.
Moana. That's a huge one. That's fantastic. Raya and the Last Dragon's not a musical, but it's a fantastic Disney animated film too. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see just where this lines up over the course of our lives in terms of how animated films go.
Are we gonna come back to this when we get old?
Yeah, probably.
I can come back and just be in my headspace when I was 21. Yeah, like 21, 22. Just be in my headspace. Just listen to what I was like.
Balloon podcast.
Listen, grandchildren, this is what your grandpappy used to sound like. I used to sound all good and young and healthy. But yeah, I don't know. Be interesting.
I was watching Lion King.
So y'all can have fun because I don't expect to be here that long. Oh, that turned dark. That turned dark. No, that's just a dark joke I say with my friends. That turned dark.
No, I feel you. No, I mean, I
live fast. And if I do die young, then it happens,
a good time.
You know?
Forever
here for a good
young,
time, not a long time.
Forever young. Yeah.
But
I agree with 4.5. Okay, I can get behind that. I can get behind it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm happy to hear it. Ultimately rounding The Lion King out to a 4.83 out of 5 stars. Which throws it as a top 10 movie, I believe, in terms of our ranking system or rating system as of yet. If not top 10, right there.
Yeah, I believe it's in the top 10. Pretty easily here.
Yeah. So another great addition. Now it will be interesting when it comes to the calculating of this month, as far as having 7 movies in a week. It kind of adds an unfair weight. So I'm thinking we do our ratings. We do our usual thing for this whole week. We do our normal ratings. But the only one that is taken into account is Fridays.
Ooh. Okay.
Now, these can be taken into account for the award show, like the 90s awards. But when it comes to the actual ratings, it's just unfair weight. We're just we're just celebrating the year 1994, right? Like, we don't need this to have such a large impact on the larger project at hand. It's just we're kind of celebrating at a fantastic year for movies, and we're gonna acknowledge the greatness of these movies.
We gotta pick one though. We gotta pick
one
of
like
these
what's
movies.
Gonna be our Friday movie?
Ooh.
I'm so new to this process. I don't know what's going on.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. Me and Joseph be going back and forth sometimes, and I'm like, we just like this. We've been doing this for so many weeks now that it's like anyone who's just randomly hopping on. Like Tavares was like, I don't know what the fuck y'all on.
Yeah, because I'm like, what?
I mean, I guess you could just average the whole week into one score and just have that be that week, that Friday score.
That's true. That's true.
But then it is kind of unfair because all of these movies are probably
become discounted.
Yeah. So like, I think it is better to choose one. And like, which one are we going to choose? I don't think it's a Jim Carrey movie.
I think it's one of our Pulp Fiction, Shawshank, or Forrest Gump.
And that's very tough to choose between those. I would say my gut is like either Shawshank or Pulp Fiction.
That's hilarious.
Why?
My gut was Forrest Gump. So that's just hilarious.
Wow.
But no, we'll work it out. We'll work it out off mic, and I mean, we've got months.
True.
What year did the Green Mile happen? What year was that?
The Green Mile, like as in
the movie, yeah.
1999.
Oh, okay. So that's okay.
Oh, that is a good movie.
That's
I didn't
what
know
I was
it by
like.
name.
Yeah, because
that's a good movie.
Oh,
Tom Hanks.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that is a good movie.
I like that movie over Shawshank
Think-
and Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, 1999 is The Matrix though. So
Ah, damn.
Yeah, but since we're doing this, we can start throwing in some honorable mentions throughout
Yeah,
the
because
week. If
The
we
Matrix
want,
did kind of like change. It was a
like
big mark.
change shit.
Yeah.
1990. We're pretty much all gas, no brakes from here on out in terms of like
That's
what our
true.
movies are.
yeah,
Like it looks pretty good going forward, but the rest of this week's going to be fun. We got Lion King here to kick us off on a very high note with a 4.83 out of 5 stars. The rest of this week we'll see The Mask starring Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber starring Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura starring Jim Carrey, and then we're also going to include Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, and Forrest Gump. So it's a big week here at the Penny Bloom Podcast, but I can't wait for you all to join us on a really fun journey. But yeah, I was Colton Robertson, joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Oh, it is always a pleasure to have you, and thank you, Aurora Carter.
Thank you for dealing with my over talking all the time.
Oh no, I think we're here to talk. It's a podcast. I want to hear what you got to say, and I want to hear a lot more throughout this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with that, if you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find well over 22 hours of exclusive content at this point, updating that multiple times a week with some art or some exclusive Penny Bloom discussion. That's patreon.com/CoroBloom. All that money goes back into making sure I can put this podcast on, make sure that this can even happen, because it costs money, and I'm not making any unless it's over there at Patreon. And then if you would, head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, where we'll keep you updated on what this whole week will hold in terms of our 52-year journey through movies. And I'm assuming, just given the nature of our scheduling, that these might not even be the only 7 episodes of this week, which is fucking crazy. But yeah. Just make sure you're checking out all the shit we're putting out. We're constantly putting out content. We're never lacking. It's always there, and you'll always get those updates on Twitter at Penny Bloom Pod. Follow on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast. Remember to leave a rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Share us with a friend. And yeah. Remember, peace, love, and bloom. And Hakuna Matata.